What's up, guys? I'm Matt Reisinger.
I'm Wade Paquin.
And I'm Will King.
The Build Show today, we're talking coastal and shingle. Now, I mostly build in the city.
And I mostly build on the lake and out in the remote country area.
And this is my home base right along the ocean.
Today's Build Show, coastal and shingle. Let's get going. All right, Wade, you've been building with wood shingles for what, almost 30 years now, right?
Yeah, almost.
Talk to me about what you've got here and what you like to use. What do we need to know about wood shingles?
So this particular project is all Eastern white cedar. These are a kind of pre-dip, pre-stained product that is meant to weather evenly.
Got it.
But you know, there's red cedar shingles. Again, this is Eastern white. You can get Eastern white clears, which means it's a natural shingle. I mentioned red cedar, Alaskan yellow cedar, which is my favorite for not only sidewall but roof. So a true like shingle style house, in my opinion, would have a cedar roof, an Alaskan yellow sidewall shingles, cedar trim, very kind of classic, right? New England coastal style.
Got it. Now, when they're installing these shingles, stainless nails, start at the bottom, course your way up, and they're weaving the corners because you're seeing these kind of alternate as you go up the side.
Yep, weaved outside and inside corners.
And inside, okay.
Pin nailed to keep these together from opening up. These edges still need to be touched up with some stain to get the edges to weather.
And is there anything to the thickness of these? Like, is there a standard thickness, or can you get them in different sizes?
I don't believe you can get these in a different thickness. I think these are all, for the most part, like a 3/8 or 1/2 inch butt. But if you went into something like an Alaskan yellow cedar, you can get, I believe they're called Perfections, and I think those are a 5/8 inch butt. So a little bit thicker. It's a meatier shingle for your sidewall and roof, and with that comes longevity.
And cost, I'm assuming, too,
and of course cost, right? Yeah, absolutely.
So
cost.
as always, you get what you pay for.
Yeah, that's true, very true. Yep.
And what about shingle life? Like these Eastern white, am I saying that right? What can you expect on these versus maybe that Alaskan yellow?
So out here on the island, right? So this side of the house doesn't really face a lot of the kind of prevailing winds that come from the other side of the house. So that other side of the house, you've come back here in 40 years. This is probably going to be in pretty good shape. These shingles have probably shrunken a little bit. They might be a little more cupped. It'll show a little bit of wear and tear to them, but the other side of the house, most likely, if you lifted up this course right here on the shingle and looked underneath, you'd see the full meat of that original shingle. And right here, you'd probably see half of this material just gone.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wind, think of like sandblasting, right? All the beach sand, everything around here, the dust particles pick up and it just eats away at the shingle. So I would say like 40, 50 years is expected. If you take care of your home, you could get well over 50 years.
That's pretty good.
Yep.
Are there any shingles that might go longer than that?
The Alaskan yellows.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen some projects, some renovation type work we've done where it's had thicker, older wood shingle products on it that have been there for close to 100 years.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And could you still buy that same shingle today that would last maybe 100 years?
Well, you know, building products today aren't like they used to make them, so I don't think so.
But still, you can go certainly longer on the Alaskan yellow.
Yeah, you can get, yes, it'll go longer in terms of longevity, durability, thicker shingle, taller shingle, right? Some of those can be up to, 24 inches long.
Oh, wow.
You know, some of these are like 16-ish. You can get them 18-inch lengths.
And so this is what, 4 or 5 inch exposure? How long is the shingle though back here?
These are probably 16s if I had to guess.
That's pretty long.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So even though you're only seeing this much, that shingle.
Yeah, the tail of it's
up there.
probably up here. Yep.
All right, Wade, so you told Matt all about all the wood shingles and everything vertical in this house, but I think we ought to talk about the horizontal wood, like on the deck that we're standing on.
Sure.
And first thing that comes to mind, I guess catches my attention, is that it's gray, silver, but I didn't see it when you installed it, which has been, what, 6 months ago?
At least, yeah.
And so what is this? What are we standing on?
So this is a 5/4 by 6-inch IPE, IPE.
Okay. It's not E, it's I.
It's IPE. It's a very, think of like mahogany decking.
Yeah.
Very similar in density and color, but denser, heavier, and a little bit different in color that's going to allow that weathering that you were just alluding to give it a little bit more what I call silvering, right? That kind of that grayed out look.
So we talk
naturally.
about maintenance. You don't have to or I guess constantly stain it, reseal it, that kind of thing. Some other wood decks, like a yellow pine treated wood deck, like that we see some in our where we are.
Different ball game, right? Yeah. So you see this a lot here in New England, especially coastal environments. In fact, a lot of the marinas. If we walk down to a couple of the marinas right now, a lot of the docks are built with the Ipe, just because.
And how old are they? Like, how long have they been there?
Old. I mean, this could last easily 40 plus years without doing anything but an occasional power wash. So that's going to get you that natural silvering, graying look. Yes, you can stain it, you can treat it,
but not necessary. Right.
Not totally necessary. It's preference on how you want this to look, right? If you apply a stain or just even a sealer to it, it's going to pop the natural colors out. But now you're getting into a maintenance program, right? So this isn't maintenance free.
Right.
A little bit of power washing, a little bit of cleaning once in a while. But when you start applying stain and sealers, it's a yearly thing.
And I think the shingle style house that you're building here in New England, it just goes well because I can see all the houses around us, how aged the shingles are on that side, on the siding. And then this complements it. It almost, like if you looked at it from a distance, you wouldn't even be able to tell there's two different types of wood in some regard,
right.
The way they go. But
it's a nice contrast too with like the silver of the deck, the weathering of the shingles. When you do have white trim or even a cedar trim, it's a nice contrast. And I think personally for me, it like these textures, these colors blend in a little bit more to the environment. It doesn't like jump out at you.
Yeah. So this is under a roof, right? We're on the lower deck, but above us where we were earlier, it's getting hammered. I mean,
it's getting hammered. It looks like it does right over here.
And tons of UV on it. And it's definitely aged more than the one we're standing on, but that just speaks to how durable Ipe really is, in my opinion. But I noticed the fastener, so it's a little different than, I guess it could be. They're stainless, I'm assuming, right?
They are.
Yeah, so I have the UV where I build, but not this salt business that you're having to deal with. Like it's never a problem in Alabama, especially North Alabama. But what are these fasteners? Are they anything special?
Yeah, so it's just a deck, like a stainless steel 316 stainless steel deck screw. We prefer to fasten from the face versus like say a hidden fastener, a clip. Nothing against the clips. I just find that face screwing the decking gives you more longevity. Being able to put a screw through the face, especially on these wider boards when you're getting into this kind of 6-inch range, just really controls like the movement of the board in terms of like cupping.
Gotcha.
Right? Especially in this environment with the sun and the salt, these boards, if they were on clips, they naturally want to kind of cup and bend, and some of those fasteners break, and then you're replacing boards more frequently.
You know, one thing on that too, like even during construction, so we have a composite decking job right now, and one or two of the boards actually got damaged during construction, and to replace those out in the middle of the floor that are all clipped, it's kind of a disaster, if I'm being honest.
Exactly.
So, well, cool.
Yeah, so it's a preference. You know, some people don't love the look of seeing all the screws, but as you look around, you can see we've taken the time to keep them straight, bring them in from the edge at the same distance and stuff, so make it look like there's some thought and intention behind the installation.
So one last detail I noticed is the handrails, and that's up top with the nice cable railing going through it. Is that Ipe as well? And
that is, yeah, the cap is an Ipe.
Everything is, wow.
Yep. We want everything to kind of weather and blend in together.
All right, Wade, so we're outside looking at all the exterior details, and of course this looks familiar to me. I'm always a big Aqua fan, but tell me about the whole setup, the mounting block, what I'm seeing on top. What is all this?
Yep, so this is just a 5/4 cedar block for the Aqua hose bib. And then this has got some lead-coated copper
on top,
like drip cap over the top of it. You can see some more lead-coated copper here. You can see custom hood vents made out of lead-coated copper. So mostly everything on the exterior in terms of flashing and venting and so forth is lead-coated copper.
And that's going to give you really good protection against, I guess, the salt in the air that you're having to deal with, right?
Yep, excellent protection versus something like an aluminum that's going to corrode fairly quickly in this environment.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's wasn't familiar. Now you said this was cedar, so is this the same exact cedar as the shake, or is it different? Is it going to age differently, or you think it'll be the same?
This is red cedar, and the shingles are white, so that will gray out. But it's okay. We don't mind a little contrast there on the block. And while we're talking about shingles and weathering, you can see, you know, we put this block in and did a little patching around it. So these shingles here, these are right out of the box. So you can see how they're much lighter, almost like a tan or translucent type of color.
I see that.
And
yep.
you can see, I mean, just look at these two shingles here, how that weathers with the formula that comes on these shingles, that stain.
Gotcha. So you had to move the block around, right, to get your hose bib positioned where you needed it.
Yeah, I mean, we want to make sure,
Yeah.
exactly. We want to make sure that our block is hitting a course and also hitting the
course to
bottom of the
course.
course.
Yeah, so,
right?
so you actually cut that block to the exact height of 2 courses. Is
Exactly,
that what you did?
exactly,
Nice, okay.
exactly.
All right, Wade, that iconic coastal style is that gray shingle with the white trim. What is the white trim?
So here it's PVC, but doesn't mean every coastal home you see that's got shingles on it and has white trim that it's PVC. A lot of it is cedar or other materials. But here, the client wanted a low maintenance, right? There's no such thing as maintenance free. We've talked about this a million times, a low maintenance exterior. So natural wood products, PVC trim. It's not being painted.
Oh,
We
interesting.
prefer to paint it. Here we're not, just a client preference. They don't mind it being white. And all the screws or the Cortex plug system that Versatech and Fasten Master teamed up on to provide for that material.
Gotcha. Have you guys used any of this PVC trim on your builds at all?
Yeah, we have used some PVC trims for sure, but we've always painted it. So I'm actually loving the fact that the plugs that come with this Versatech system just make it look like it reminds me of like a pre-painted, I don't know, like a hardy siding that I'm used to. Like you can, of course you wouldn't see the fasteners, but having the plugs that you have here, and then even your project manager was telling me even the filler that Versatech has to make basically any fastener disappear, right? Is that what you're going to do here since you can't caulk and paint?
Yeah. So a lot of the trim is fastened with screws in that Cortex system. So the screw drives in, pulls the material in, leaves a nice clean plug to then put that bung in that's cut from the same material, the Versatech material. So you can tap that in and you stand back, you don't see it.
Right.
You get up close, you do see those plugs.
Yeah.
But anything where you have like some crown molding or some other like cove molding details or whatever it may be on the exterior that requires a nail fastener, you can use that filler that Versatech has to kind of fill those nail holes, and it blends in with the trim.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, it's
It
clean.
really
It's
does.
really good. I mean, after 30 years of building on the coast, I'd say you're nailing the details, Wade. Guys, if you want to see more of these two guys, you can go watch their videos. They're publishing videos every week over on buildshownetwork.com. You can also catch up on 15 episodes already of this Building on an Island series that Wade's been filming right here at this very house. In fact, we shot an episode going to need even more depth on some of the stuff we just talked about today. You can see that on our YouTube channel. You can see that on buildshownetwork.com. And follow these guys on Instagram or click the link in the description to sign up for our newsletter, because every Tuesday and Friday, my team will send you an email saying, here's what's new on buildshownetwork.com, including Will Kings and Wade Paquins and our 10 other contributors that are shooting videos for us every single week. With that being said, guys, follow us on TikTok or Instagram. Otherwise, we'll see you next time on The Build Show.